was going on, everybody? This is World Exclusive, and today I'm going to be doing an ACC video for you guys. It's going to be similar to the SEC non-conference video I did last video, so you go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. But basically what I'm going to be doing is getting teams for the ACC and telling you their best non-conference game. And thank you, Uncle Luke, for suggesting this video in the comments. And if you guys have any suggestions down or that you want us to do, then go ahead and comment down below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video. Alright, now first up we have Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. Notre Dame did really well last season. I will say that. Notre Dame was ranked number 3 when the college football playoffs. Virginia Tech kind of had a little bit of a disappointing season last year, especially that upset with Old Dominion. That was really rough for Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech didn't do that well last season. They did make a bowl game. They somehow beat Virginia. Virginia lost from that fumble on the last play. But anyway, I think Notre Dame will win this game because of how good they are. But the question is, really, will Virginia Tech get beat up in that game and lose the rest, or struggle with the rest of the games in the later season, like Pittsburgh or Georgia Tech? I don't think they'll struggle with Georgia Tech, but Virginia will be really hard. So that's a question mark that really could affect Virginia Tech's season. But you never know. Virginia Tech has beaten Notre Dame before. All right, next up we have Utah State and Wake Forest. Now, Wake Forest went to the bowl game. They were 6-6, and they did win that bowl game. And Wake Forest won kind of the easier games, and they also pulled off the upset against NC State, which was pretty shocking. On the other side of things, we have Utah State, who went 11-2. Sorry, my bad. They smoked North Texas in the bowl game. So Utah State is a pretty good team overall. Even though they kind of have an easy schedule, but still they are a pretty good team. Now, I think it'll be a competition. It might be close, but I think it might be 1 or 2 scores ahead for Utah State. If Wake Forest wins that game, it could show that Wake Forest will be a pretty good program, but I don't think it will happen. All right, next up is going to be a good one. Miami and Florida. I did do this matchup in last video. I'm going to do a couple of matchups from last video because this is the ACC, and the ACC also goes against the SEC and some teams. So this will be really interesting. Miami and Florida. Miami got a new quarterback, Tate Martell. Like I said in the last video, was he done at Ohio State? I think he was a backup. And the reason why he might have transferred is probably because he's going to get put as backup again. So he probably just wanted to transfer to Miami. So he might be a good quarterback. He might not. Florida, I expect to do really well this season. I think Miami will do good this season as well. But if Miami can beat Florida, like I said, that could mean that Miami is back and ready to get back in the game, and this could be a really solid program. I think Miami is a good program anyways. Even if they do lose this game, I think they could still go 10-2. But in my final predictions, I had 11-1. But I think they might slip one other game if I think about it. But anyway, that's what I have for this game. All right, next up would be a good one. Texas A&M and Clemson. Texas A&M held with Clemson last year. Clemson did win that game 28-26. Texas A&M also lost Alabama, which is not surprising. I expected a little bit more competition in that game, but anyway, Texas A&M also got upsetted by Auburn and Mississippi State. So they finished 9-4. Overall, they destroyed NC State in the bowl game. And not much to say for Clemson. Clemson basically just won the national championship, blowing out Alabama. Clemson's quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, will be more experienced. So I think Clemson will be a pretty good team this year. I think they'll be a favorite of this game. But you never know. Texas A&M might be competition again like they were last year. And I think it will happen. but I think Clemson will pull away with the win anyway. All right, another ACC-SEC win. This is UNC in South Carolina. UNC has a new coach, Mac Brown, which I expect to build the program up. He has a lot of freshmen to work with, so I think UNC will be a good team in the future. I don't know about this year. I put them going 6-6, making a bowl game, which would be pretty good for UNC. South Carolina, pretty decent team overall. I don't think they're going to be ranked or anything, but I think they're going to be a good non-ranked team. So I think South Carolina could pull away with this game, but I also think UNC could fight back. So I expect kind of a 50-50 in this game. I think it'll be a spectacular game to watch. And if UNC wins this game, I think that can tell that this team is ready to play and ready to get back into football and stop losing 10 games in a row or something like that. All right, next up is Georgia Tech and USF, South Florida. Georgia Tech lost their head coach, which would really hurt them because he loved the triple option offense, and that's what their players are used to. So that is going to hurt Georgia Tech a lot. So, and USF, on the other hand, was a pretty good team at the start of last season. They won 7 games in a row, but then all of a sudden lost 6 games in a row, and they're even including their bowl game against Marshall, I believe it was. So USF just kind of fell apart in the later season. I don't know if it was because of injuries or teams are better than them. But USF might be good this year. I don't think Georgia Tech will be good this year at all, so that's that game. All right, next up is Boston College and Kansas. Boston College, I think, is a good team. I think they were ranked for a point last year, and Kansas has a new head coach. So I think he's going to try to. Every coach will. He's going to build up the Kansas and try to get the program back. So if Kansas wins this game, I can show that their coach is pretty good. I think Boston College will win this game. I don't think Kansas will be great. Anyway, they might be better like a bowl team, but I don't think Kansas will be like a team that will go 9-3 or anything like that. Next up is NC State and West Virginia. NC State, they were pretty good last year. They did lose their bowl game, like I said earlier in the video. So NC State, like I said, had a pretty good season last year. Man, it was unbelievable. They did better than I expected. On the other hand, there's West Virginia, who lost their starter quarterback, Will Grier, and their other receiver. So they lost 2 great positions. West Virginia did get some pretty good wide receiver recruiting classes, and they got a quarterback from Florida. I think West Virginia will make a bowl game this year, but I don't think they're going to go anywhere above 8 wins. So I think this game will be pretty competitive, and that's that game. All right, next up is Louisville and Kentucky. Kentucky lost a lot of people on offense, and Louisville is just not a good team overall. I think Kentucky will have an easy time with them, but that was the best game I could find for Louisville to me. Kentucky, they're definitely not going to be as good as they were last year. Kentucky was pretty surprising to me. And Louisville was just bad. So, sorry to Louisville fans. Maybe in the near future, you guys used to be a very solid program, but that fell apart. But that's that game. All right, next up is Florida State and Boise State. Florida State overrated last season. I think they were 20 on the preseason rankings, losing to Virginia Tech badly. So I mean, Florida State finished 5-7 last year, so that was a pretty high ranking for them. No one really expected them to do that badly. On the other hand, there is Boise State, who's a pretty solid program. Yeah, Boise State was a very good team for a long time, and they still are today. Next up is Pittsburgh and Penn State. This game will be pretty fun. Pittsburgh did pretty well last year, going 7-6, I believe it was, going in the ACC championship somehow with that record. So, yeah, and Penn State. This is why I picked this game specifically. Penn State is a program that has good seasons and decent seasons. There's one of those teams. So I believe if Pittsburgh hangs in with Penn State, it's either A, Pittsburgh is good this year, or B, Penn State is going to have a decent season this year. I think it would be more of B if it did happen. But if it's a blowout, I think Penn State's going to have a good season this year. All right, next up is Syracuse and Maryland. Maryland upset Texas last year. So Maryland's a pretty decent team. I think they were also competition with Ohio State for a point in the game. And then there's Syracuse, who had the lead with Clemson for most of that game last season. That was probably the reason. The reason why was because Trevor Lawrence probably got hurt. So that really hurt Clemson. So that was probably why they were competition with them. And that's that game. All right, next up is Virginia and Notre Dame. Virginia, pretty good team. Notre Dame, especially a good team. I mean, Notre Dame will probably sweep Virginia. Or Virginia might be a little competition. You never know. But like at Virginia Tech, the question is, will Virginia get hurt that game? And will it impact the rest of their season? I think Virginia has a little bit of easier games on the way, but I think it gets tougher. So I think Virginia will have enough time to recover. So, I mean, Notre Dame, I don't have much to say for them at all. Last but not least, we have Duke and Alabama. Same with Virginia Tech and Virginia against Notre Dame. Will Duke get hurt that game? It's a very first game. So I think Duke will struggle. And Duke lost Daniel Jones, so that's going to hurt them pretty badly too. And Alabama's just a solid team since like 2005, I believe. So that's going to be really hard for Duke. And I don't think Duke will win that game, but I think that you should more focus on if that's going to hurt Duke or not. Now, if Alabama struggles with them, that means that A, Duke is good, or B, Alabama sucks. I think it would be A. If it did happen, I don't think Alabama will suck at all this year because, I mean, as long as you have Nick Saban, you're good. All right, and that's all for this video. Like I said, please comment down below what you think we should do next. I'll probably do a prediction soon. I know I haven't done them in a while. It's because I wanted to do videos like this, something different for you guys. And also like and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.